You don't fail at making money because you don't work hard enough. You're failing because you have a frequency of a broke one. And you think that more effort or working harder will achieve you more money. But that's not true, because you're working on a rich timeline, but your brain and your own mind is on a broke frequencies. That's the part why nothing really changes. Last night I opened my bank account again, and then my heart was racing and my chest was flooded with stress. So I closed down the app. 5 minutes later I opened it again, and not that numbers would magically change, because I needed to confirm that I was still broke. And right now there are millions of people out there that are working harder than ever but don't achieve anything because they're tuned into the wrong frequencies, into the frequency of a broke one. And I'm taking the money as an example because I lived it for years, and here's what actually changed. So your frequency is your inner state. It's not what you say and it's not what you do. It's how you feel when nobody's watching. This is your frequency, this is your energy, how you feel. And every time you open a bank account or you tell yourself, I can't afford this, you're living and you're tuning into that broke frequency. And that's why effort won't make you more money, because you live in a different timeline. You live in that broke timeline, in a different version where you didn't achieve nothing. That's why you can't make more effort and work harder and have more money, because you are in that different timeline. And here is what frequencies really mean. It's not what you want, it's what you will. So let me explain in the short term what frequencies are. It's not that things you want. Frequencies are the things that you expect. For example, if you expect that you will have money, you will eventually get money. The universe will give you money because you think about all the time the money, you have that feeling, and you will get that feeling when you achieve money. So let me explain what frequencies are. It's not what you think. Frequencies are what you expect that's already going to happen. For example, if you act or if you tuned in the wrong vibration, for example, broke, then you will get more stress, you will get more bills, because you will expect that having less money will give you that thing, this more bills, more stress. And if you think about it, then you vibrate the wrong frequencies and you will attract these wrong frequencies, because the universe will notice that, okay, he vibrates like that, then I have a check, you will get that vibration from me. And what I mean with that is that if you think positive things will come to you, because it's like a radio station. If you want to listen to 109, for example, you tune the radio on 109 and then you receive the thing. For example, if you tune your body to achieve more money, to have more muscles, for example, or something else, you will eventually get that because you're tuned in. You're vibrating in that state, in that life you actually want. So it's hard to explain, it's hard to believe, but eventually I stopped thinking or vibrating broke. So I stopped to watch content where people complain about money. I stopped to talk to people, for example, at work. We're constantly complaining about they have less money, they need more money, etc., because their energy vibrates onto me and my frequency are getting turned around to think like them, because his energy is repelling on mine. And if two energies together move differently and one is stronger, eventually the other thing will get that energy. It's different to show you with my hands, I'm sorry. And that is actually the shift about frequencies and vibration. And it's not that you're lying, you are just living the truth. You're living in a different timeline of yourself who already achieved that. For example, if you think about your business, you don't think, oh, I need to make money. You think, okay, I'm building something valuable and the money will follow because I already achieved that. And if you think like that, if you be in that state where you already think it's like manifestation, if you're already in that state, eventually all the things you admire will come to you because you align with that frequency that universe will give you. And most people do the opposite. They stress about money, they need to make more money to get out of the bills, but while they're working hard, their inner state, their frequency is tuned to poverty, being poor, and they cannot make more money because they're vibrating on that broken state while they want to make more money. So these are two different worlds, two different dimensions. There is not aligned with the universe. So the universe doesn't care about your effort, it cares about your frequency. And if you're stressed, desperate, or need to make money right now, the universe will notice that and it will give you that stress, desperate, no money, because it will notice that you are in that state, that you're in that frequency. So the biggest part that helped me was to stop talk bad about me. For example, I stopped saying that I was broke, because everything that comes out of my mouth is also a vibration, and that vibration picks up from the universe, means okay, he is broke, he wants to be broke because he talks like that and he vibrates like that. And eventually I stopped with that, because everything, as I mentioned, comes out of your mouth is also a vibration. And if someone asks me, how am I? Then I don't answer them to I'm broke or I'm stressed. I will answer them like I'm building. This will be the answer for an example. Because I'm building means I'm a builder, I'm a problem solver. I will get things done what I do, because that's the frequency. A builder is a problem solver, is a creator, is someone who does the stuff he actually says you're gonna do. And it's not that you go out and tell yourself, yeah, I'm a builder, I'm good, I'm the best. I mean, eventually it will help, but if you think like that, you first of all need to think how you are and who you want to be, and then it will come automatically from your mouth, because the vibration from the inside will repel on the outside. So with words, for example. And I don't want to tell you that you have to pretend that you're rich. I just want to tell you that you need to normalize abundance internally, because if it's internally right, if the frequency is right, then everything will come, will appeal that frequency. You need to think that you already achieved that level of money you already want. You need to think that the car you want to have is down at the street. You need to think that, so you need to act that you already achieved that money. You need to act that you have that money and you don't care about that money, for example. Or you need to act that you already have that nice car on the street out there. That's yours. You're imagining it, that's yours, and it's outside, and you are here recording this video, for example. So I imagine, for example, that my car is downstairs and waiting for me to get into the car. And if I'm in that state, if I'm in that frequency, eventually one day the car will be there, down there, and I will eventually get into that car. But if I'm having the feeling right now of believing that the car is down there, when I have the car and I step in, I already had that feeling because I was tuned into that frequency. And that is the shift. And that's also called the quantum leap. For example, you have two timelines. One timeline where your car is not there, you're desperate, you're broke, and one timeline, your car is really down there and you have that money. And you're right now here, but if you think about all the good stuff, the money, the car and everything, you will eventually get that frequency from that timeline and you will jump into that different timeline. And I know it sounds really weird and it sounds really impossible, but I don't know how to explain that, because it is possible. Everything you want is achievable. You just need to have the right frequencies. And everybody talks about frequencies and so on, and there's more behind of that. So this was just the tip of the iceberg I just told you. And it's very hard to explain because, first of all, I also don't know exactly everything about frequencies, etc. But I know the biggest part of it. As I mentioned, it's still the tip of the iceberg. There's way more to learn about this. So if I could help you with that understanding about frequencies and timelines, then check out this video where I talk about identity shifts, and check out my latest video. And as for that, thank you for watching, guys, and I'm rooting for you.